Hey friends, I'm back today with a video on a brand that I have never tried before. I have been wanting to use this palette for a long time, and then I was kind of like in a purge state, so I thought about getting rid of it, and when I was on a live with you guys, you were like, no, do not get rid of it, do a video, and so I've gone ahead and done that. And I've got to say, upon my first use of this, which is right now, I'm going to do more looks that I'll, film and then put in here later. I am really glad I did not get rid of it. This might be my favorite thing I've tried in a really long time. So the brand that we're talking about today is Danessa Myricks Beauty, and the palette that we're talking about is the Lightwork 3. Now, there are a few different variations of this. This is the Face and Eye palette. This one right here was $125, and there was a lot to it. They did recently, or still do, have another version, a variation of this for $85. And I've got to say, if you see it out there, I would 100% scoop it up. So let's take a look at the actual palette. The packaging matches the box. I'm personally not a fan of it. It's not my favorite that is out there, but I don't hate it either. I do like the spirals that are kind of hanging out here. The texture is kind of nice, but actually, you know what? Maybe I'm changing my mind on it. It's not my jam, but I don't hate it. And I will say the palette doesn't say cruelty-free or vegan or anything like that, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that it's neither of those things. When you open up the palette itself, this is what it looks like. And I'm going to try and do some, oh yeah, you can see this motion, this movement immediately in those shades. If you look between, holy crap. Now, these highlight shades, you're not going to notice it as much, but let me just tell you, these highlight shades are freaking fantastic. And I normally don't like these kind of like powdery white ones that a lot of brands have, but I do like them. I do enjoy them, in fact. I really like this kind of creamy formula that's down here. It's sticky. It's almost like putting an eyeshadow base down, and I almost wish I had just left it just with this eyeshadow instead of adding a couple extras to it, because it was so beautiful. When you watch me applying it, you'll be able to see it for yourself, and you can make a judgment call. Let me know in the comments. I really want to know. But it is just so impactful on its own. I feel like it didn't need anything. It really didn't. I think with this palette, because this is not like a standalone palette to me personally. I used it actually in conjunction with this one right here from Nomad. This is the Boss Naboso de Monteverde. I'm so sorry I'm saying it wrong. And so I just paired them together. You could literally take two shades, two matte shades, and, do a crease color, do an outer V color, and then pick one of these, throw it on the top, and it's going to look fabulous. If you want to go the extra mile, pick one of the highlights, throw it on the brow arch, and then also put it in your little inner eye area. Chef's kiss. It's going to be gorgeous. Sorry, you can see the mess that is my makeup room, but we're going to ignore that right now, because this right here, I'm telling you what, I actually really wish I would have bought a backup, but I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. I wasn't sure if the formula was going to irritate my eyes, but now I'm truly regretting it. I kind of am like, should I pick up the one that's $85? But you know what? I've got a lot in my collection, so I'm just going to be happy that I do have this. I will 100% not be getting rid of it now, because if you're going to be spending $125 on a palette, I used to feel like Pat McGrath, and I still feel like Pat McGrath has good quality stuff, and same with Natasha Denona, but you get so much and so much variety in this palette for that price that I'm just like, oh my gosh, I would pick this over any of those that I have from either of those brands. Pretty much. It's close. It's up there. There's a few from both of those brands that I'd be like, yeah. But this one I really enjoy. I think she did a great job. This is a Black-owned brand, so if you are wanting to support that, which I'm firmly for, this is a great way to do that. She's an incredible makeup artist. I wish I had like a speck of her skill, because holy shit, she just has this vision that I wish I did. This right here kind of proves that. I think she is one of the first bigger smaller brands, if that makes sense, to really nail a multi-chrome formula. I think she's done a great job. Like for instance, I like Natasha Denona's multi-chromes, but they're nowhere near as impactful or shiny or beautiful or just vibrant as these ones are. I'm sorry, I'm on one a little bit, but I'm going to share some swatches with you guys. I'm going to do this eye look. I'm going to do another eye look. Who knows? I might do a third eye look if I feel well enough, and then I'll be back at the very end with my final thoughts. Okay, so I'm going to give a quick breakdown of what I'm about to do for this look. So using the Lightwork, using the Lightwork 3 palette, I'm going to first go into Spring Equinox, and I'm going to put that in my brow highlight in my inner corner of my eye. Then I'm going to pop over to the Monteverde palette, and I'm going to be using kind of a mix of these colors. So the Green Vine Snake and Resplendent, I'm not going to say it. I'm just not even going to try it. These two shades I'm going to mix together, and I'm going to do all of my upper and lower. I will take it slightly up and above my crease, and then I will, in the outer V, be using Green Spiny Lizard and Blue Morpho, and I'll kind of mix those shades together and pop them over here in my outer V and a little bit underneath in my lash line as well. Then I will swap back over to the Lightwork 3 using... I keep damaging myself. Then I'll pop into the shade Martian, which, okay, so it's looking very turquoise in the pan, but let's give it a slight motion. Guys, this is very, very shifty. It goes green to turquoise to teal to blue to purple. It's gorgeous. I really love it. This palette just... it snaps. Then I'm going to put a little bit of Polaris on the center of my lid, which is what I did here. And it is strange because I thought it was more blue-green, but there's a hint of gold to it as well. So definitely surprised me when I did that. I originally was only going to do 2 looks with this palette, and now I'm having a really hard time wanting to not do a 3rd look. And then the new palette is coming out soon, so I'm kind of like... maybe I should get that one too, because I am really impressed with this formulation. Now, I will say this is totally off of my review. The more I use it, the more I really enjoy the formulas that are in here. I did use it with the addition of something today, so I feel that my lid is extremely poppy. And these shades are very poppy on their own, but I finally got a chance to try this, and I was really, really looking forward to it. And now that I've used it, I can definitely say it's probably my favorite one I've ever used. This is called Lick Life, and I've tried to say it like 3 times. I'm totally messing everything up. And this is from Death and Candy Custom Creation. Sorry, that is a mouthful. I was trying. I really like it. It's kind of like you need so little. I went a little ham. I used my silicone brush, and I picked up just the barest amount that was on top of the lid, and I didn't need like even a quarter of how much I took. So I definitely think that if you were looking for something sparing to put down as an eyeshadow base that seems to be really gentle and yet really impactful, certainly check it out. But in any case, you can kind of see this look right here. I'm going to go ahead and do it for you guys, and then I'll be back at the very end with my final thoughts, so I keep kind of talking about them. Alright, so what I did today was I took the shade Strawberry Moon and I went ahead and I put it in my inner corner in my brow highlight area. And then I went into this palette and I took the shade Green Vine Snake and I put it just in the inner kind of half of my eye, we'll say. And I did the same underneath. And then I went into the shade Blue Morpho and I kind of bridged the gap between the 2 colors that you will see right in my crease and slightly above. And then I did the same thing on the underside. And then I took the shade Violet Saberwing and I kind of patted it onto my outer V, and I did the same on the under. I did use I can't say this word. I did use Lick Life. I'm having a hard time saying this. Lick Life like Liquid Life. And this is from Death and Candy Custom Creations. I really like this. It's gentle. I have super sensitive eyes, and this has been a fantastic base. Like, honestly, like, I think these shadows, because of how they're formulated, would do well without it. But I think for everything moving forward, I will 100% be using that all of the time. So in any case, when I moved back into this palette right here, I took the shade Aurora and I put it on my first, about 2/3 of my eye, we'll say. And then I took the shade Galaxy and I put it in my outer third. And that's it. Should I do something on Polaris? Although now that I'm looking at this, I'm kind of considering adding Polaris, which is the shade up here. It's a lot more green than you're actually seeing. And this up here, it's interesting because it looks very purple to me, but you guys are seeing more of that turquoise and teal type of shade. These shades are just, I'm telling you, this is the third look I've done with it because I could not put it down. Like, this was a great purchase. I cannot wait to get the new one. So I'm debating, should I add it? Maybe I'll just put a little bit of Polaris underneath my lash line. Just to add a something. Because I already jacked up my eyelashes like 10 times. Dang, that's just such a good shade. Okay, let me pick up a little bit more. I shouldn't have used my finger. Don't copy me. Do the opposite of me. Use brushes. And I just kind of am tapping it on about the center-ish of the lid. Although I've kind of gone a little awry. I like that. That's what I'm going to do. Ha! Okay, so I'm going to give a really quick summary about what I'm going to do with this eye that I have done to this eye. Reaching into this palette, which I'm going to screw up the name of, the Bossa Noboso de Monteverde. I'm so sorry. I cannot pronounce this. I'm sorry. I have tried. I've huffed. I've puffed. I cannot do it. So the very first thing I will do is I will go into the shade. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the shade Green Vine Snake, and I'll put that all over my crease and slightly above. Then, and actually this is what I did first, but we're gonna skip and ignore that. I'm going to go into the Danessa Myricks Lightwork 3 palette, and I'm going to go straight into Golden Eclipse and put that on my highlight area right there under my brow arch and in the corner of my eye. Then I'm going to go back in and add a little bit of Green Spiny Lizard, and I'll put that just on the front half of my eye, just in the crease. And then on the outer V, I will do Glass Wings, kind of out and then bring it in onto the actual lid. Moving back into Lightwork 3, I'll use Spacesuit and put that all over my lid and kind of bring it up generally into the crease a little bit and over and underneath. Everything that I did to the top of my crease, I'll put on the lower lash line as well. Including Spacesuit, I will put that underneath as well. And then I'll go into the shade Solar Rain, and I'll put that over the same area that I did this shade right here. Finally, I'll put a little bit of the shade Soul just in the front half of my eye. Hopefully this is helpful. Okay, you guys, I'm back, and I'm already holding it. I'm back. I want to give you my final thoughts. Let's ignore this clashing ass shirt. I just was hanging out, and I was like, oh, I should play with this, and that's what I did. I'm just not one of those people that necessarily plans their outfits with their makeup. Not what I do. It's just not my vibe. I don't leave my house enough. So, the brand that we're talking about today is Danessa Myricks Beauty, and the palette that we're talking about is the Lightwork 3, and holy shit. Yeah, I said it. Holy shit, this palette is phenomenal. Like, if you can still get your hands on this at all, this was originally $125, and I personally feel it was a great price. Like, that was a fantastic price for this palette. So, the box itself matches. I'm not crazy about the packaging. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's not my favorite. It's not my least favorite. It's right there in the middle, especially considering what's on the inside. But, you know, it is what's on the inside that counts. And with that being said, look at this freaking palette. So, look at these shades, and I'm going to just barely move them, and you can see all of the color changes. This is one of the most flippy, shifty, beautiful, most intense multi-chrome and duochrome and beautiful palettes I've ever seen. A lot of times you have to do a lot of movement or a lot of like angles or lighting to try and capture some of those shifts, and this is very minimal in my opinion. Like, I feel like I can barely do anything, and you're really seeing a lot of movement within these shades. For me, the quality is there. She did a freaking great job with these. I've tried every formula in here, and they're all just some of the best I've ever used. Like, I'm not even kidding. And I've used Indi, I've used high-end, I've used low-end, I've used them all. And honestly, this might be my most favorite formulation. And specifically this one right here, which I thought, I don't know how I'm going to feel about that. This is kind of a waxy feel. It's almost like an eyeshadow base, but a little waxier and definitely easy to spread. But I wish now that I just left my eyes as they were with the green and this shade, because it was just stunning. You almost have to do no work to make a really spectacular look. So I'm just saying, if you see the other variation of this that was $85, I would snap it up. I wouldn't even remotely delay. If you can still pick it up, it is well worth the money. I think she has done a great job. She's a phenomenal makeup artist. This is a Black-owned brand, which I am definitely on board to support. I hope you guys are too, because I am telling you what, you will not be disappointed. In any case, I hope that this was remotely helpful to you guys. If it was, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you here, and I hope that everybody is staying safe and healthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.